Hey, what's going on, guys? It's LuceyGoosey or Kyle, and welcome to my Week 1 team builder for the PSBL. We are going up against the Pokemaster Mike and the New York Metagross. I wanted to show you guys the logo a lot better because I couldn't figure out where to put it on the layout. I put it right here because I felt like it had the most room for it. I didn't want to put it on the right side because it doesn't really fit well, so I put it in this position. Now it's going to take me forever to get it back. But I want to make it a little bit bigger to show you guys how nice it is. Mike made this logo all by himself, and I think that's such a cool logo. But anyways, yeah, we're going to get into the team builder here. Basically, I'm making a separate video for the team builder and the battle because it helps me explain my team if you're interested in what I'm bringing. And if you're not interested, you can go watch the battle and just see how the battle goes down. Mike has a really good team. And we obviously, if you watch the draft analysis, if you haven't, go watch the draft analysis so you know my possible 11 that I can bring. But we obviously have a weird team this season. Not the best team, but I'm going to do my best in prep. In fact, this is the most I've ever prepped for. I usually use a notebook to do my prepping, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages of notebook filled out for this match. So I put a ton of effort into prepping, like writing down scenarios, what I'll do in the scenarios, writing down why I need certain Pokemon, why I don't, and just getting my thoughts out there. So I've already played the battle, and I don't want to spoil anything, but usually I want to record my team builders before I do the battle so that you guys hear like everything that I was thinking before the battle, so it's not like after the battle I say, oh, but I should have brought this, because I don't want to say anything like that. But basically, I'm just going to read through my notebook because that's going to give you guys more of like the raw, this is what I was thinking during the battle. So I organized his team in order of what I thought he was going to bring them. I ordered them with Tapu Koko as number 1, and I wrote down some potential sets that he might bring for Tapu Koko. Having a Tangrowth on our team means that it usually walls Koko, especially if I'm like Assault Vest Tangrowth. So I have a feeling he's going to bring physical Tapu Koko with a little bit of support. Well, not support, but momentum. So I think he's going to bring Z-Move and a Z Brave Bird. That's what I was really afraid of, was Z Brave Bird, Nature's Madness, and then Wild Charge U-Turn. I think that could be a really good Koko set. And so I was really scared that that was what he was going to bring. So I prepped a lot for that. But Koko is 100% coming in this match, in my opinion, no matter what. Even if he brings a special set, Scarf, Specs, whatever he happens to bring. I think Koko is definitely coming. Another Pokemon I know is for sure coming is Minior. Looking at the matchup, Minior just matches up so well after a Shell Smash. Being able to hit Mega Camera, Blacephalon, Torkoal, let's see, what else can he hit? Tangrowth, and Machamp, all for super effective damage, means that it's 100% coming. Minior has such a great matchup that if it gets up a Shell Smash, it could just win the game. So I have to be really careful about that. The next Pokemon I thought was for sure coming was Sneasel, but I kind of mixed them up in order on the thing. That's why, okay. I thought Sneasel was coming, and I wrote down either Life Orb, Banded, or Sash. I felt like Life Orb or Band was probably more likely, but Sash is definitely likely as well. So I think that the main reason why Sneasel would come is to pursue Trap Blacephalon, but Sneasel also has a lot of good matchups like Icicle Crash on Hydreigon and knocking off a lot of items because my team is kind of weak to knock off, so I feel like Sneasel is a for sure bring. And then Latios as well. I think Latios is pretty likely because it is really fast, and although Koko can be Scarfed, Mike has a tendency to Scarf something that's faster than everybody else on the team just so he has a Pokemon that is guaranteed faster, and he doesn't have to Scarf Koko because Koko can be faster than everything on my team. But so can Latios, and I feel like Latios has a better potential Scarf because Hydreigon is a potential Scarf on my spot, and I don't know if they'll necessarily bring Dazzling Gleam on Koko, but a Scarfed Latios checks a Scarfed Hydreigon, and I feel like Latios just overall is a better Scarfer in this matchup compared to Koko, just because Koko can deal a lot more damage if it's not Scarfed. So I think Latios is definitely likely. And then as far as his walls go, Porygon 2 seems like a pretty good wall. Obviously Machamp kind of stops Porygon 2 in its tracks, but I think Porygon 2 is able to prevent like Hydreigon from doing much in this match, Blacephalon from doing much, Electros, Tangrowth it can not really switch into, but if I'm special Tangrowth it can switch into. So I think he's probably going to bring the Porygon 2 with the EVLA and make it really bulky. And then I feel like Lantern or Seismitoad is going to be in that last spot because it is going to be his main switch into Blacephalon. He also does have the Drampa, which is a pretty good switch into Blacephalon, but I feel like offensively, Drampa doesn't do too much in the match, so I do have Drampa near the end of there. But then, when it comes to Azelf, He actually didn't originally draft Azelf. It was a free agent transaction made in technically week 0 before battle started. And I had prepped my team before he had picked up Azelf. And I went back and I didn't really make too many changes. I was more afraid of hazards getting up. So I changed a few moves on a couple of my things because of Azelf. Because Azelf was his best hazard sitter now besides Seismitoad, because before that I felt like Seismitoad was a better hazard setter, but now that he has Azelf, he can sash it and guarantee get up those rocks. So I was really scared of Azelf. I put it right here just because I didn't really think about it during prep. Before that, he had a Alolan Marowak, and I had prepped for Alolan Marowak, but they're both kind of weak to similar things as far as like Ghost and Dark Ghost, so I didn't do too much on my prep sheet for that. Mega Scizor, I don't really feel like it's coming in because I have a lot of Pokemon that can hit it hard. Like, you know, I can hit it with Camel, I can hit it with Blacephalon, I can hit it with Hydreigon with Fire Blast, I can hit it with Torkoal, Electros learns Fire, or Flamethrower, and a bunch of things just hit it really hard. Machamp learns Fire Punch, so I highly doubt it's going to come. It doesn't really have too much potential in this match. And then as far as Chestnut goes, I feel like Chestnut is definitely not coming. It cannot really do much to my team at all. The best it can really do is hit Hydreigon with a fighting type move, but that's if you know, he can take hits from my Hydreigon. Like I said, I could run the fire type moves, and I just feel like anything that's weak to fire is a little bit less likely to come just because of how strong my team is with fire. So Chestnut is definitely considered one of those. One thing I did think about with Chestnut is the bulletproof ability does allow it to not get hit by Shadow Ball, so it could be his switch into a Shadow Ball if he thought about that. But Chestnut just doesn't seem very likely in my opinion. Anyways, I'm going to move on to my team right here, and the first Pokemon I knew I needed to bring was Tangrowth. I felt like Tangrowth or Ambush had a really good matchup, but I wanted to make sure that I brought the correct set. So I'm going to read what I wrote down in my notebook, so it tells you guys what I was thinking. So I said, mainly check special attacks, however, I think Koko will be physical or mixed with Z Brave Bird, and I can't run AV if I run Protect, so I didn't want to run AV because I wanted the Protect there to scout out for the Z Brave Bird. I think that Spadef would be really nice, and Leech Seed has reliable recovery. That's what I wrote down. And looking at Mike's team, what Tangrowth checks, and I wrote down everything Tangrowth checks. It can switch into Porygon too if it doesn't have Ice Beam. It can switch into Tapu Koko 100% of the time. It can switch into Chestnut. It can switch into Seismitoad, Lantern, Latios, and that's everything I wrote down. So Tangrowth basically switches into so many special attackers, and I wanted to run an AV, but that meant that I was susceptible to a Z Brave Bird from Koko. So I brought the Leech Seed Protect because even though I have Leftovers and Regenerator, I wanted to make sure that I can keep this thing around. It has knockoff to get rid of any items, especially like Scarf Lottie, or even item on Porygon 2 with the what's it called, Eviolite, and Earthquake is there to hit Koko one-on-one because I need something. Sludge Bomb would have been okay, but I felt like Earthquake was a little bit better just because I'm already decreasing my special attack. I could have went and decreased my speed, and then Sludge Bomb would have been a better idea, but I felt like Earthquake also checked a couple of switch-ins to Tangrowth, like Lantern, if you want. Well, not Lantern, but what was I thinking? I guess at the time, Alolan Marowak was the only other possible switch-in, but I felt like Earthquake was just a better play in general. So yeah, that was my Tangrowth. Next Pokemon I decided to bring is going to be Blacephalon. I didn't really see a great potential matchup for Blacephalon, but offensively, it hits a lot of things on his team. However, I knew most of those things weren't coming. The things it does hit hard are Sneasel, Latios, and Azelf, as well as Scizor and Chestnut, but I didn't really think either of those are coming. I felt like it had a pretty decent matchup overall, and having Toxic on there allows me to Toxic either the Lantern, the Drampa, the Seismitoad, or the Porygon 2 on switch-in, which I think all of those would be really nice to Toxic, because they're all basically good switch-ins. I'll let you guys know right now, and this is kind of spoiling a little bit of the match, but I didn't really know Drampa's typing before the match, so I didn't put too much prep in for its typing. I thought it was just pure Dragon, but that's just a little side note right there. So Toxic, Fire Blast, Shadow Ball, Flame Charge. If I get a Flame Charge up late game, I can try to sweep the game, especially if I can knock off the Scarf on Lottie if he brings Scarf Lottie, or if he brings any other Scarfers if I can knock off the Scarf there. I have to avoid getting Pursuit Trap, but if I have my Focus Sash intact, I can stay in and kill the Sneasel in one shot, which is really cool. Or I can Flame Charge and then be faster than everything, which would have a chance to kill the Sneasel, I think, after Rocks, so that's kind of cool. So yeah, max special attack, 88 speed, just to outspeed a few things. Basically at +2, I can outspeed Scarf Lottie. I think that's how I made it. But also, I just outspeed a couple of things that were lower than me, but maybe are trying to get up there. I think it outspeeds Minior before Shields Down goes down, before it like comes into his regular form. But everything on his team is either really fast or really slow. So like Azelf, I couldn't outspeed. Latios, Sneasel, Minior, Tapu Koko, none of that I could outspeed, and then everything else I could because it was also slow. So that's why I ran very little speed and a lot of HP. I know with the SAS set, it's not really great to run HP on, but I felt like it wasn't needed to run speed because I couldn't outspeed any of that stuff anyway. So that's why I went with HP, because if he does get rocks up, then it is nice to have a little bit of bulk in there as well. So that's what I was thinking. The next Pokemon I decided to bring, though, is Alomomola. I said before, if Minior gets up a Shell Smash, it is going to just cause a lot of problems. So I need to keep Alomomola on the team and able to defeat the Minior, because if I don't do that, the Minior is going to be a huge problem. I do have a few Pokemon that can hit Minior for some good damage, but Alomomola is going to be my primary switch in. Acrobatics without the white herb at +2 can do about 45%, and with a Wish Protect, I can heal that up, and it will take Rocky Helmet damage. And that's before the shields go down. After the shields go down, it does about 60%. So then at that point, we can't Wish Protect up. Well, we still can Wish Protect up on it because we just need to live 1. So at any point in the match, Alomomola needs to be at enough health to live in Acrobatics. Or he could also run Special, which I don't really know if he knows about Special Minior because I've never really seen it run before, but Special Minior is pretty good as well. And a Power Gem at +2 without any special attack investment can do about 55% to this Alomomola, so we have to watch out for that. I think it actually was a little bit more. I think it was like 65, but we have to watch out for that. But yeah, Alomomola I think has a decent matchup, and with the set I have on it, it should be able to wish up some other Pokemon on their team and do some work as it is. Next Pokemon I'm bringing is going to be Nagini, the Electros. We're going to bring Assault Vest. This is primarily the Nagini set you will see that I bring. Maybe a few Move Switch here and there, but Flamethrower, Giga Drain, Knockoff, and Volt Switch. I'll read what I have written for Electros. I said, has a great matchup for sure. Defensive checks a lot of Mike's team. A lot of Mike's team on the special side can't really touch Electros, and some things on the physical side either. It's a great switch in the Tapu Koko if I can't bring in my Tangrowth at the moment, and it gets broken down easily, so I have to make sure I can wish it up. I said Eel gets really good coverage in order to run AV in this match, and checking Latias and Koko is super important. Flamethrower for a couple of things that I don't really expect to come, but I didn't really know what else to run. Giga Drain to Oko, the Seismitoad, hopefully turn 1. Knock Off to get rid of items, and Volt Switch just for momentum. I felt like this is a really nice bulky set, and I also ran a lot of speed on it because I felt like it was important to outspeed Seismitoad. So I basically ran enough speed to outspeed Seismitoad without investment. I believe that's what I went with. So yeah, that was, I think, a pretty good set for our Nagini. Next Pokemon I decided to bring is going to be Percy. Percy has a really great matchup. It might not look so great on paper, but in situations where I can get this thing in late game, it looks really nice. Because I don't think he's going to bring Mega Sizzler, and because I don't think he's going to bring Chestnut, he has very little counters to this. If I can get up my Normalium Z Belly Drum, Aqua Jet can sweep through everything except for Lottie, Seismitoad, and Lantern. If he is a slow Lantern, then we do have enough speed to outspeed that, and outspeed an uninvested Seismitoad. So we do have 200 speed, which is what our Electros has as well. We're adamant, so our Aqua Jets can kill Tapu Koko at +6 after... actually, we don't even need rocks. It will kill unless he has a lot of HP investment, which he might, or he might decide to run Modest, which would make him have to run a lot more speed investment and not HP. So that's where my thinking is at. I think we should be able to kill the Tapu Koko with a +6 Aqua Jet. Also, we can kill Minior 100%, and we can two-shot the Porygon 2 after we get rid of the Eviolite with Knockoff. So that's really important. We can hit a lot of things really hard with this thing, and a late game sweeper is probably the best way to use this. So now I really need a wall breaker. He has a lot of bulky Pokemon: Porygon, Lantern, Seismitoad, Lottie in some cases, Azelf if he brings a bulkier Azelf, which I highly doubt, and Drampa. So I wanted a wall breaker as well as a little bit more priority, so I went with Machamp because I felt like Machamp had a really good matchup as well. We're going to be bringing Guts Machamp, and this is what I wrote down for Machamp. I said... Machamp doesn't need Trick Room to be a wall breaker. However, it isn't going to be super fast in this match, so it is going to have to take hits, which means I will have to wish it up with a Loma Mola. I said, it makes it look really good though with priority Bullet Punch, especially with Tapu Koko and Minior out there. Bullet Punch doing about 45% to the expected Koko that I bring, and about 60% to Minior. I said, unfortunately, Latios kind of stops in his tracks, but if Latios is killed early or doesn't show up, Machamp can offer a really nice backup plan to sweep late game with Bullet Punch, or just to wall break his main threats. So I decided to bring Bullet Punch, Close Combat, Knockoff, and Toxic. The reason why I brought Toxic is because there are a few Pokemon that can check me. Like I said, Lottie checks me really well. And the other thing that can check me really well is a defensive Seismitoad. So I felt like Toxic was decent. I really didn't need another move on there. I could have put Ice Punch to hit the Lottie, but I felt like I wasn't willing to make predictions in the case that I was in against a Lantern and click Ice Punch on an expected Lottie switch in. Like, I wouldn't do that. So that is the set I decided to bring. A lot of bulk and a lot of attack, obviously, to put in the work. So that's going to be the team that I'm bringing. Hopefully I can get the battle up soon, either today or tomorrow for when you're seeing this. And other than that, that's going to do it for the team builder. So hopefully we can win our first match in the PSBL, and I will see you guys then. Other than that, I'm out for now. Peace!